I was getting ready to go on an amazing rant about how baseball is the second greatest sport in the world. And then you got us all housekeeping.
So what's the first greatest sport in the world?
Well, it has to be the sport that we're in. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing all of these podcasts and interviewing people. But I feel like baseball is the greatest worldwide sport on the planet. It's a thinking man's game, right?
How about baseball is the greatest team sport?
Yeah, true.
Bass fishing is the greatest solo sport.
In the great words of Denzel Washington, this is chess, it ain't checkers. You know what I'm saying? What movie is that from? The greatest movie of all time. Training Day.
Training Day.
Yeah, it's from Training
I
Day.
knew that.
Yeah.
There's some other quotes that I won't say.
That was a very good movie. By far, my favorite actor on the whole planet is Denzel Washington. I will argue that and I will never give it up. Yeah, I'll never give that up. By far the greatest.
Well, here's the thing about you arguing. You never give up anything anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Whatever. I gave up something once. I don't ever win with my wife, so why would I want to lose to you guys?
You are listening to the Alpha BassCast with Jake Boomer, Brian Smith, and Bo Fletcher.
Bo, tell us about tonight's guest, because pretty stoked. And the funny thing is I asked my dad, who is a serious slimer fisherman, and that's what I call him. Not disrespectful, but I call him a slimer chaser. And my dad's really good at it. And I said, do you know so-and-so? And he said, oh, yeah. Watch him all the time. And I said, we're going to get to talk to him tonight. And my dad was like, really? Pretty cool. So why don't you set this up?
Yeah.
B.
How does
Fletcher?
that make you feel? How does that make you feel that your dad watches somebody else more than you on YouTube?
I think he probably gets enough of me. We run a business together. Like, he had to raise me and my brother. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like going home after and then putting this kid on, I'm not a kid anymore, but putting his son on TV would be like double torture.
That is true.
Yeah. And he's not fired up about, he's not fired up about bass fishing, I don't think, like we all are. He's more
I had to listen to you rant as much as he probably does. I wouldn't be either.
Does he know about the Sonic rants? Does he call him something else?
I mean, he's been around
Hot
me for
air
a long
leaving
time.
the body.
That's actually, you're actually doing a little bit better than normal. I didn't even actually have a good comeback.
You know, the sickness is working.
I don't know. Maybe you need to stay on some drugs.
Yeah. Cloudy head.
Bring him in here with the virus. He'll get it done.
Yep.
Okay.
So tell us about it, Bo. What do we got
tonight?
Going on here?
We have Cameron Black joining us, born and raised Washington guy. And I will say this now because he will tell me it's not true, but I think he's arguably the best salmon steelhead fisherman possibly in the world, definitely in the country. Cameron has a deep experience in the fish biology world. He used to be part of the Washington DFW, started a guide business called Gone Catching, I think in the early 2000s. He's just an all-around fishy dude and really great guy. He's a part of Addicted Fishing, probably the most prominent salmon steelhead instructional video, lifestyle video brand there is. Is that what you call it? What do you call it? It's come on, Jake. You know those words.
But before your monologue bores everybody into turning off this podcast, he is turned into an extremely competitive bass fisherman in a very short amount of time.
Yes.
Which is why we're having him on the BassCast.
Correct.
But they're just letting everybody know. If you guys were like, I want to hear about bass fishing and went to click it off, that is not.
Don't.
I did my homework. Extremely successful, very interesting individual. But what I like is his extreme acceleration in our sport, which I've seen in the past in other guys, people that fish for other species and spend a lot of time outdoors and don't just hone in on one specific type, just they catch everything, tend to go really fast when they get into competitive fishing. It's an experience, something I've experienced.
Yeah, he probably, I think I remember seeing him around the Oregon local scene 2 years ago, maybe 3. We'll ask him, but it wasn't long.
Yeah.
And it didn't take him long to be at the top of the leaderboard all over the place. And, and we're talking about against a lot of really talented local fishermen who have a lot of knowledge of the water. So
super cool.
Yeah, super cool guy.
I say you should text him and get him on.
Yeah,
and while we're waiting, I'll sit here and make fun of Bryant. Actually, how have you been feeling? I know that you've been under the weather a little bit.
Oh, I'm doing splendid. My 2-year-old is making sure that I get over it quickly with a high activity level, low amount of rest.
Did he get one of those little booger suckers and use it on you like you did his poor first 2 years of life? Fair is fair, right?
He still hates that thing.
I don't know a kid that likes it.
Could you imagine if you're like 70 years old and your kid comes in and you're like, time to suck your boogers, buddy. You can't move because you're so old. People don't forget.
Yeah, damn it.
I've been waiting 68 years for this moment.
Yeah, my turn.
Those things are horrible.
My wife, she didn't like the sucker thing. She found this thing that looked like like a hook extractor. And it was like, it's this like, and that's what she would use. She'd just clean out his nose. And Cameron's here now as we're talking about cleaning out little kids' noses. So
sorry, Cameron.
Welcome, buddy.
We have a skill of inviting guests on at just the opportune times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if there's a moment of silence, Bryant or I are going to make fun of something, and usually it's each other. So just while we were waiting for you to come on, we apologize. Thank you for joining us.
No worries, man. I'm glad to be here, man. Love all your guys' content, the shows you guys do, and I don't know what this whole thing was, but it's we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we're talking about what's gonna happen. The booger claw. We all have kids. Well, you guys all have young kids. Do you have kids, Cameron? That's a good question.
Yeah. Got a 10 and a 15-year-old, so a little past young now, but they're getting old quick.
Yeah, goes fast. We were reminiscing about the booger sucker because Bryant's been sick for the last week. I was kind of hoping that his kid would use that on him and send us a video of it.
He tried.
Yeah. Viral content.
I know. I'm sorry. We need to go to
viral content.
With this. We need to be more professional. Anyways,
so I want to start this out by thank you for joining us, Cam. Yeah. And if I remember correctly, you are joining us from a different part of the country, and you are currently fishing for a different type of bass, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so you wanted to get this podcast in, and I'm like, well, I'm sitting here in Florida right now, the ever rainy 6-7 inches of rain today, Florida. Well, I'm hearing that everything down in Oregon and Washington is just beautiful, but we're down here with the fam doing a little vacationing and doing a little peacock bass fishing, and spent the last couple days in the Everglades, and we're in Key Largo right now and gonna do some other fishing tomorrow. So just kind of hanging out a little bit.
That sounds awesome. Is it really raining like 7 inches a day?
Dude, it's gnarly. Like, I don't think I've seen rain like this in Washington. It's gnarly down here. I mean, it's lightning, thunder, constant. I mean, we've been trying to sneak out. I mean, my wife and daughter, man, they trooped up today for about 3 or 4 hours there in Key Largo, and I could tell you, like, it was enough. Like, even though it's like 75, 80 degrees, that rain is daunting. Caught the crap out of fish, but it's just it's something else down here. You don't see this torrential tropical rain even in Washington. It's pretty nuts.
No. Well, I just logged on to weather.com, and the first thing is hurricane season begins. First potential tropical system of our season is on our radar. So you nailed the timing.
Yeah. Did you guys get a discount on the travel and expenses?
Well, everything's pretty light down here because I think all the other smart people don't come down here in the summertime. But there was a little break in our salmon seasons and kind of all of our BAM schedule and stuff. So I said, now this is going to be the week we're sending it. And yeah, like I said, the fishing's been good, so glad we did. But it's not 110, so there's that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we did some. I think the Alabama swings were the ones like in the MPFL where it was like the rain wasn't really that welcome, but it stopped the 110% humidity and the 92. Like I'd rather just be wet because you're wet anyway, right? And might as well just wash the sweat off. But
There's Pickwick in July in Tennessee,
yes,
northern Alabama, southern Tennessee. It was every single time you see the thunderstorm coming, you're like, yep, I'm going to chance it just so I can cool off a little bit.
Don't get lightning by lightning. Yeah. No, I'll never forget. I took my kids down there, went to that Pickwick Dirt tournament. I put them in the camper and drove them down there. And just like the funny things that we remember, the one thing I remember is like they would take a shower at the campground and then hang the towel on the back of the camper. And then the look on their face the next morning when they grabbed the towel and it wasn't dry. Like we're not back at home. But we still talk about that. They're like, yeah, it was gross. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't dry in that. That's humidity. Yeah. Anyways, let's not talk about me anymore. We got Cameron on. So Cameron, I got a crazy story for you. So we're in the Super 60. This is I'm just going to apologize on camera. We're in the Super 60 and I'm being grouchy Jake for some reason.
TJ.
For whatever. Oh, I know what I was mad about. I was mad about the weigh-in line.
TJ.
Yeah.
TJ
Tournament Jake. Yeah, TJ. And my wife was on hanging out on the boat with me and Cameron walks up and says, hi, how are you doing? And I said, hey, how's it going? Or whatever. I thought I was polite. But my wife's like, dude, do you know that guy? And I'm like, no, he's the guy I think he's from Oregon. She goes, well, why were you so short with him? And I'm like, I wasn't short with him. I was like,
I caught the vibe, man, and I knew I caught you. I didn't know what it was. You texted me later. I caught you in the middle of something, and I was just like, "Hey, man, love the podcast. Nice to meet you, fellow Northwest guy." You know, and I was like, "Cool, see ya."
Yeah.
He just dropped his pants. He was mad.
Yeah. And here is my public apology. My wife was like, what a jerk. You know, she's like chewing me out. And later on, she's like, what were you so upset about? And the first day of that tournament, if you remember, they had weigh bags, limited the weigh bags. The second day they didn't. And I'm such a stickler about I have this huge fear about keeping your fish alive all day long and then they die before they get to the bump station. And so I walked up there and they're like, hey, listen, we're holding everybody back. Stay in your boats. So I went back to my boat for 20 minutes and I walked back up there and the line's 3 times as long. And so I'm like, maybe they just don't want me to weigh in. I'm like mad. Like they're not telling anybody else to hold their stuff. And right when you walked up was when I was doing the math. Like I could have been weighed in like 20 minutes ago. Anyways, stupid. It's my fault.
Well, I mean, everybody's in that tournament mode, especially at that point in time. And I didn't know if you had weighed in or not. And so it was just kind of like I said, my timing honestly sucked. So, you know, it is what it is. There's a priority there that needs to be handled. So,
yeah. Bo named me TJ this year. So, tournament Jake. It's weird. I don't ever have anybody to stay with when I go to these tournaments. It's just me.
Wonder why.
So bizarre.
I know. Bryant doesn't even hang out to mooch off of you.
Yeah, he does.
Probably.
We still do that.
Diving into it, I want to go get into your history, but that was your first really big highest level. Was that probably your highest level tournament? The Pedro Super 60?
Yeah, no, by far, no question.
And you top 10 it.
Yeah, I mean that's so many stories and angles to that, but yeah, just by somehow just found something that made it work on them poor little spotted bass, and then just realized that when I got to day 3, just how woefully unprepared I was. I mean, you
didn't even have a room that night.
Thank you. I was waiting for you to say that. I was like, I don't know how far you want me to go or how far back you want me to go. But when the lady at the front counter, when I talked to her on the phone to book the room, she's like, "Oh, you want a room through Sunday?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna bail Saturday night." She's like, "Oh, we'll let you cancel, or you can do whatever." I'm like, "Don't even book it." That's how woefully unprepared I was. So, thanks to Bryant and Bo for putting up poor little Cameron, so I didn't have to drive 40 minutes down the road or sleep in the truck. You know, it is what it is.
I remember on Saturday when you came up to me and you looked like, 2 days of competition fishing, and you were fishing your ass off. You were a little tired, and you looked a little deflated. You were like, they don't have a room. I was like,
I mean, what else?
In
What
the
else
middle
is
of
there on
nowhere.
exactly on a Saturday
Yeah.
night? That's like the shining beacon of whatever out there. There's nothing else. I mean, it's a great place, but yeah, who'd have thought Saturday night they'd fill up? Weird.
Yeah.
Probably should book the room.
Oh, I think at some point you need to shake Jim Vetros's hand, because he
Yeah,
didn't
that was
make it to
Jim's room.
Sunday.
Oh,
he didn't make
his-
it to
okay.
Sunday. So you actually got his bed. So it worked out pretty good. Yeah.
Oh,
man.
if
Good
that
old
was
Jim.
my only mistake for day 3, I would have been happy, but it wasn't. So,
Hey, you can't win if you don't make day 3, though. Like, there's a lot of us that didn't. So
Mhm.
I would
Not even close.
just
never second guess it. Just whatever you did to get there was awesome, because you beat 59 of the best on the West Coast. That's crazy.
Well, and I think it's a good time to like jump from the end to the beginning, because I was just telling these guys, I remember, and you may have to help me with the timeline, but I feel like I started seeing you showing up to like local events within the last 2 or 3 years, and not a whole lot. I never saw you showing up much before. And I was kind of explaining to these guys about your history and the name you've made for yourself as a salmon and steelhead fisherman. I found out today, did a little bit of research, that I didn't even know you had kind of a past profession with fish and wildlife. But I'm really curious what takes you from being one of the greatest salmon steelhead fishermen in the country to like diving head first into tournament fishing for bass.
Oh, I can give you. We got a podcast here, but I mean, so we have this other brand, Addicted Fishing, and we film content, a lot of salmon, steelhead, trout. We do a little bit of bass. My buddy Craig Robin, who's a tournament guy, Craig. He's been around forever. He had this idea, and he's like, "Hey man, I want to make this little like bass tournament and get some local guys and film it," and we did. And I got throttled, and of course the guy who won in that tournament was Tom, but they came in with like 45 fish, and we came in with like 2, and I was like, and we fished our butts off. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, you know what? That's just kind of like there's obviously some. It was like a first week in November, kind of, late wintering tournament, and I don't know. I just kind of like caught the bug. So Craig's like, "Hey man, fish as my co for TBF next year." So I did, and I fished co. We made it. We qualified, went to NSF. Was sitting in 6th place at the end of day 1 as a co, as a draw. I got a really nice draw, and I fell into that, one of those guys that like, I mean, I've ran a boat, my guide service for 22 years now, and just fished as a co for 1 year. But then my second day, I didn't get the draw that probably would have helped me do what I needed to do. And just, it was just kind of a tough experience for me. So I bought a boat and said, I guess here we go. So that was 3 years ago. And so since those 3 years,
Awesome.
I just said,
One
you know
bad
what?
draw. Here we go.
One bad draw. And I do regret that decision, because, in these pro-ams, being able to draw you guys and stuff like that, that's a glaring hole that I've seen in some of my game. But like I was like one of those guys that just had to kind of drive the boat. And then, I mean, and then you get into tournament fishing just as a whole, even at club level, you just get this instant like check at the end of the day where, well, you guys know, like you come in and you thought you did good, bad, indifferent, whatever, and you find out that all these other people, and just for lack of a better term, my wife and probably all my buddies would agree, I'm a competitive a-hole. So I when I get beat, I put my nose down and start grinding and start figuring it out, and there's nothing more than when everyone leaves at the same time and comes back at the same time. You guys know tournament fishing, but we don't have that in the salmon and steelhead world. Even the salmon tournaments we have on the Columbia River and have done very well at them. They're kind of like big fish jackpots, you know. They're not bass, you know. We can't release them, and just I don't know. I just caught the competitiveness bug of just the whole tournament things. Like I said, bought a boat. My son loves it. He's 15 and fishes every club tournament he can with me, and so I think it's something that I want to learn, develop, and get him into it as well. So just I guess you can say I just caught the bug, and I love fishing. So.
Were you bass fishing before or after the Kevin Van Dam video?
I mean, I bass fished a bit, you know, here and there on the Columbia River. That was my tournament fishing, though, was definitely after we convinced Kevin to come on down and come salmon fishing with us. So
Gotcha.
it was just kind of a weird circumstance. We go to ICAST for our brand every year, and met him in a booth and was talking to him. Just, you know, great guy, super nice guy, of course, as people know him. And we're sitting there talking to him, and we met him. The president of Mustad's like, oh yeah, you want to meet? Oh yeah, I'll meet Kevin. It's cool. Started talking to him like, yeah, we're fishing just like you, 7-foot rods, 1/2 ounce hair jigs now for coho. And he's just like, I want to do that. He's like, I want to try that. When do you want to do that? I'm like, late October, early November. He's like, I'm not doing nothing. He's like, I'm there. Flew out, took him fishing for a couple days, and had some just killer time. And so that, but yeah, all this stuff, all the tournament stuff was definitely after when Craig wanted me to fish with him, and everything was after.
Oh, no kidding.
It's kind of a weird. Now I'd love to get him out here to go bass fishing.
Yeah,
neat, but...
just ask him 1,000 questions.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Hey, you mind culling with me now, bud? Yeah, right. Jeez.
I love that video too, because we've all watched Kevin. I've probably watched him fishing a million times because when he was dominating, especially before even live, he was on every show. And in your video, he's standing there on the bank working a jerkbait. It looks just like him standing on the front of his nitro. Like
Totally.
There's no other person that works a jerkbait rod like that. Like
No.
you could tell if you couldn't see his head or his body, that's Kevin Van Dam. And he was catching salmon with those.
I loved how he was having trouble getting them to commit, and he actually, like, you could see the competitive part of him come out. Like he got mad. He's like, I'm going to make this.
He even said
eat.
that. Now they're making me mad.
That was so cool.
Well, I mean, it's great too. I mean, and he got some of them too. He got some of them in the sled.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 episodes there, and he got some in the sled and in a spot. I'm like, oh, he's just cast. I'm like, I'm gonna let him cast there. I've never caught one there, and he like rips one out of there in like 5 seconds. I'm like, damn, I gotta figure this stuff out, because I mean, I was blown away. I was like, oh, okay. But no, that was a treat. And then even just, you know, just talking to him and just like talking to him about the jerkbait and just kind of how he kind of his like mental process a little bit to that. And then seeing it in action on fish that don't want to eat and actually absorb all their parts of their digestive tract. I mean, these things are not eating. Like, you can't stress that enough. And still to get them to go on that jerkbait was pretty sick. So a lot of fun. And obviously the guy could twitch a jig like no other. So it was a pretty easy couple days.
That's awesome. That's crazy with the schedule that he has, that he would be like, I want to go do that. Because he was still competitive fishing, right? Like he was still
he hadn't
full
retired.
blast.
It was, if I remember right, it was the year before COVID. So I think it was 2019. And then he was going to bring his sons out the following year. And then the world decided to get all weird. And but so be it. And now he's retired. I should reach back out and see if he wants to come do it again. I know, Brian, I'm going to get you in here too. I got to get all you guys out there, man. Dude, it's a riot. And we're doing it. We're doing it, man.
We're fishing. That's what before you came on, I text my dad. I said, hey, do you know Cameron Black? He goes, yeah. How do you know? I said, we're going to talk to him on the podcast. He's like, really? Kind of like, why would he talk to you guys? It's kind of the vibe I got. Yeah, whatever, Dad. But he watches you guys all the time. But he takes me slammer fishing once in a while, and he gets mad. He's like, he usually brings like a crankbait, because I'm so type A personality. Like, go to the front of the boat and throw that. Like, just go away. Like, spinning circles in the back of the boat. But Yeah.
Say about that technique is, I mean, people have gravitated to it over the last probably 8 to 10 years now, just pitching hardware. And I mean, now it's even, we'll even take it back one where we've did an episode, fishing for the slime rockets last year. And I was just chucking spinner baits at them, and come to find out at the end of the day, the spinner baits are doing better than the freaking twitching jigs that all the Northwest salmon guys are doing. So we're about to,
Wow.
I mean, this whole thing, I mean, it's just, I'm telling you, it's, these fish aren't feeding on anything. You're just getting them to react, and bass guys are pretty good at getting fish to react. I mean, especially after they've been caught, a couple few times, they get smart. So
I've seen a correlation between guys that are really good and spend a lot of time outdoors. You just kind of get good at that kind of stuff when you're accelerating very fast in competitive fishing. So do you think some of the stuff, obviously you have a background in it, and I want to ask you about that too, but do you think some of the stuff like making them react to the different stuff you do for salmon, do you feel there's correlations to that with the bass fishing?
oh my gosh. So like when you talk like coho, and you talk like salmon fish, and just in general, I hate, clear water. I want that salmon to be in his box. I want him to be able to look 2 feet outside his head, and I want to drop a bright pink and chartreuse twitching jig in his face and just make it appear and turn at him, versus fishing him in clear water where, they can see it coming from 20 feet away. They're not interested, and they just watch it slip on by, and having to like speed up those presentations. Like when that salmon has the visibility, I tell you, like the way that correlates, and like how your cadence and how you work baits, even to just getting a fish to react, whether it's a bass or salmon, is almost, it's strikingly similar. It really is. And I mean, it's, like for instance, like we do the little twitch and hair jigs, when it's kind of murky water, 2 to 3, 4 foot. But when it's 10, 12, 15 foot of visibility, we want to just rip crankbaits by them as fast as you can. Don't let them think. And just that kind of reactionary, whatever, the fish sees something flash and wants to go for it. If his window's big, it better be moving faster. He gets too much time to dissect it, he doesn't bite it. That's why I really had one of the reasons why I had a real hard time at Mojave trying to get those buggers to go. I've never seen water that clear in my life. It was pretty wild. But yeah, I mean, it all falls. I'm not going to say they're exactly the same, because I think that cheapens it, but there's definitely some striking similarities for sure.
Yeah.
What about finding fish? Has your experience as, salmon coho guide, has that helped you? Are there correlations there as far as locating a bass? Anything that you can use?
Yeah, I love fishing current. And
Mhm.
so Columbia River current just seems, just the way water moves, like the way water will sandwich going from deeper water to shallower water, and just all of it. Like I like the current. I like fishing in it. I think it puts fish, obviously you guys all know, puts fish where you want them sometimes to be. And then so then I get into these big, vast lakes, Pedro, Mojave, Clearwell, all of them, and I get a little bit lost trying to find them. But if I get a little bit of current, I'm pretty happy with it. Just to be able to use that to my advantage. And obviously salmon and steelhead with current, that's a huge piece of it.
Yeah. They spend most of their lives in it though, right? Like, is there any time that through their cycle that you would not want them around current, or not look for them around current?
Yeah, coho salmon, for instance, they're kind of I call them the bass of the salmon world. They'll associate to like slack water, backwaters, and kind of mill around. They'll hold the stumps and ledges and cuts, and they'll kind of get in the bushes too, if you will.
No kidding.
So there are times like when the water's up, for instance, in the main river, coho will really like stack into the side channels. In fact, one of my favorite rivers, my home river, I mean, when it's flowing at 12, 15,000 CFS, it's the best time to fish it, because 98% of the water they're not going to be in. So then they're in the 2. So you can go just beat them over the head with a stick at that point. So there are times you'll fish slack water for salmon, but you still are using that current to put them where you want them to be.
That's awesome.
Your home water's the Lewis, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite. Good old Lewis River, Cowlitz River, kind of all of them in the Southwest, but yeah.
Do any of those fish hold, or do any of those rivers hold bass?
Yeah, the bottom of the North Fork actually does have a few Cowlitz, not so much. I think it's a little too glacial for them. So, but right out in the river mouths, they're there. They're all over in there.
Oh yeah.
I've actually caught a couple smallies in the North Fork. Lewis twitching for coho salmon. They'll bite bright chartreuse hair jigs for some reason. We call them twitching
No
jigs,
way.
but they're freaking half-ounce hair
Wow.
jig, man. They'll eat them. One of the favorite colors is just a chartreuse head with just a black body with a little bit of mylar, a little bit of flashaboo in it. They'll eat it.
Dude, smallmouth, man. We we call it chartreuse or tartuse. Man, smallmouth. It doesn't matter what time of year. That's the dumbest color in the world, and they eat it everywhere. They eat it in every watercolor, every clarity. Stupid Sammy. Yeah. So Mojave had super clear water, right? So you were forced to. I mean, what adjustments did you think you made that you? Okay, maybe not. I didn't make them fast enough.
The first adjustment when I was panicking, when I was back in my boat and I was looking back there, I'm like, God, I can still see the bottom. Like, how far am I going to have to put this boat back? That was the first adjustment. Because for some reason I had it in my little head to go down to Havasu for a couple days and fish that to try to kind of hit 2 lakes, a little bit for each one of these travels in hopes that I'll make it to next year. And shoot, I thought so. I had it in my mind like, oh, okay. I mean, I was able to just trash those fish at Havasu on a jerkbait. Like, it was awesome. Visibility was probably 10, 11 feet, and just running around and finding some isolated stuff. And they were just, I mean, I was having a freaking ball, and I had it in my head, oh, I'm just going to go right up that Colorado River, the old Mojave, and just have a day with them. And that was not the case. So that was wild. I mean, I just remember one time sitting in 38 feet of water, kind of slow fishing a jig and stuff, and just being able to look down at the bottom, when the sun was high on that first day, and just like totally different. I needed to make that adjustment first. I thought I was going to make those fish move to me in that clear water, and I couldn't make my reaction stuff fast enough to make it happen. And then of course seeing videos and stuff afterwards and watching what guys were kind of how they were picking on them a little bit, I was like, yeah, I probably should have got onto that a little earlier. But like I said, never fished water that clear in my life, and just kind of was a little blown away, a little bit set back from that.
It is probably your favorite bait, a jerk bait? Like, you kind of feel like I think that's how you did good at Pedro, right? It kind of reminds me, like, I would think that would be something that, with your background, that would probably be the perfect bait. And you got to see KVD up close use one, so.
Yeah, he was really into the randomness of his jerk, and of course you guys would see, and not patterning, and just, I mean, so yeah, in a way that was it, but yeah, that was the other thing at Pedro's, like, McClure a couple days prior to that was just fishing just like that. It was the only way I could get anything to happen there, and so I just kind of was able to go around and pick on spots, and then I picked an area that I thought would have some largies, and I dropped a pretty good largie right at the start of the first day of Pedro, and it kind of just stuck me. But then I didn't have anything for like 3 hours, and I said, well, I better start doing something else, and just put that thing in my hand and burned it down. Just able to get some numbers that way.
A lot of people did that and didn't have I think I did it for 4 hours on the second day. I don't think I weighed a keeper, so it's impressive.
It was a challenge because, like, you caught, I mean, shoot, for every keeper I caught, I bet I caught 2 that weren't, like, it was bad, and you had to just, I mean, I got 100 amp hour, 36 volts, and I think I burned that thing down to 40%. I'm like, I've never seen it that low after one day of fishing. I mean, just covered as much water as I freaking can. And to a little bit of Bryant's advice, because I know this is probably going to come up from one of your guys' podcasts a little bit, just, man, if you don't know and you don't want to, whatever, I'm just going to cover more water than the next guy and try to do it. And that was just what it did. It's just what happened.
Yeah. Good job, man. That was cool.
Super
Oh, I
cool.
love that.
Yeah, the downside of this podcast is Bryant tells people stuff and then they use it against us.
I'd be lying if I wasn't saying I wasn't listening to every single one of you guys.
Bo, you had another question. I keep interrupting you, so I'm going to just stop.
Oh, I don't know. I think
Oh,
we're
you don't?
moving along just fine.
Well, I mean, you guys know where I'm going next, so
Go there.
What, you got a
I want to
Sonic
go.
rant for us?
No, listen, I'm going to get one steered
I
up
know
for
where
you.
you're going. Go ahead. Go
Yeah, I
for
be
know
it.
concerned
exactly where
right
he's
now.
going.
Wait. Where do you?
I'm ready.
Send it.
Okay, well, I'm not going where you think I'm going, but I'll go there later.
Okay.
Anywho, so you have a fisheries biologist background, fisheries background?
Yep. I worked for Fish and Wildlife out of high school and through college at down in Region 5 Vancouver, all salmon steelhead stuff, but started kind of guiding. Got my guide license kind of right at my end of my tenure there and just decided that Fish and Wildlife wasn't going to be a thing for me. I was there for 6 years and did a lot of stuff really involving salmon, steelhead, and sturgeon. Like never did anything on the warm water side of things, but just really got involved in that. And that piece really helped, like, with my salmon and steelhead guiding. But like I said, no warm water stuff in there at all.
Okay. I'm going to ask a controversial question.
You're not supposed to
coming.
say it up front.
No, I'm just coming. I want to give you an out. I want to give you an out because you're very well established in the salmon steelhead world, and you are a avid bass fisherman. Do you believe that the smallmouth bass are a contributor to the decline of salmon and steelhead rates on the Columbia River or its tributaries?
100% yes. But
Okay.
you've seen it. Come on. How many smolts do you see them eating? Do they eat predation? Yes. But
Okay.
here's the thing. Like, so when we want to talk about like state management, don't get me started on the Washington Department and Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. Let me tell you.
Well, I
There's
didn't want to
a
open a
n-
big can, just a smaller can.
So they pay the state pays people in the Columbia River to kill a native species of fish because of the damming and the slowing of the waters gave them all the benefits, and they can crush these. They are designed to kill baby salmon.
We're talking about the pike minnow.
The pike minnows, yeah. So the
Correct,
pike minnows,
okay.
they're terrible on the salmon. The walleye that are there, they eat the salmon too. Do not let the walleye fishermen tell you wrong. The smallmouth guys, come on, we know they eat the salmon, especially at the end of April. It's like, oh, you could go to any pre-stage spawning point and rip them on jerk baits. They're chasing smolts, right? It's what they do. But when it comes to like us using the smallmouth bass as like the biggest scapegoat for like how like for if our salmon and steelhead runs are being poorly, like I can see the state. I got something for you too. I can see the state completely like, oh yeah, the smallmouth. Never mind that like 42% of all salmon and steelhead smolt die to avian predation in the Columbia River estuary, right? 40 to 70% of all the baby steelhead that are coming from the upper reaches of the Snake in Idaho die between Bonneville and McNary Dam to avian predation. Now let's talk about salmon or like seals and sea lions. Now let's talk about dams and fish passage and the lack of spawning habitat. So let's talk about all these like giant issues. But just I don't know if you guys saw this yet, and I was just so tickled pink to see it. But the ODF&W have now decided that you are allowed to, yes, spearfish smallmouth bass in the
Just
trips.
came out with it.
I was
Yep.
like, are you? I'm
Yeah.
like, is this what we're doing now? Like, this is going. All this is going to do is kill a few more bass. And now, when I say a few, have you guys, any of you guys ever ran into anybody who spearfishes freaking smallmouth in the Umpqua? Just use a freaking rod and reel and catch them.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Well, I gotta find this.
why do you
It's
gotta
one of the big conservation, like the native groups, just put
Yep.
out like
Oh,
a
yeah.
PETA based
Right.
advertisement, and it was like an underwater picture of a guy with a spear, and he had this like 3-pound smallmouth that the spears were like bleeding out, and it was just like end the carnage of salmon smolts, and it was like,
Right.
what the
So these guys, those guys are so off base, and I'll just say it right now. I don't care. Those guys are so off base that the other problem is you have with predation, right? And smallmouth bass would be included in that, is that those native fish guys have ran around in the Northwest in the last 30 years and have done everything they can to reduce hatchery production for one reason or another. I'm not even going to get into it here. If you really want to, we can, but you can ask me that question later. But some hatchery fish are bad, some are good. But the problem is that if you've bolstered these populations of predators over the last 30 years by putting these salmon and steelhead, smallmouth bass included, and then you take away those hatchery fish, what do they eat? Anybody want to tell me?
The native.
They eat all the native
Yeah.
fish. And so these knuckleheads run around and they think they're doing something. They even go out and tag some of those fish on those Oregon coasts. And they put tags in them and release them back and then make these like kill fisheries to go out and catch them. And yeah, will those salmon smolts do a little bit better in the Umpqua? Okay, yeah, sure. Is it something that we should be doing as sportsmen, knowing the fact that the second that those salmon and steelhead are gone for one of the other major reasons, and not everyone in the Northwest is going to become a bass fisherman tomorrow? I think it's pretty freaking short-sighted. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Never mind the fact that those guys were also completely responsible for starving the orca whales in the Puget Sound, for reducing the Chinook plants. But like I said, like they're worrying about things like, I'll even say that, let's just say that the salmon and steelhead that are getting eaten by the smallmouth bass, let's just say it, I think it'd be something like 5% of the problem. But the bigger pieces of the problems could be managed by our state and federal managers, and it's just an absolute refusal to do any of the tough work. Sorry. It's ridiculous. So I'm on that fence. I love bass fishing. I don't kill them. I love eating them. If you see the bucket brigades on the Columbia, I mean, it sucks, but it's like, I think it's a little short-sighted for our fisheries managers to honestly try to degrade a fishery that is so quality in the Northwest. But I mean, I'm not one of those guys that's like, kill every bass and figure out how to do it, which I was actually accused of by one bass guy when I first started, but that's something. He's like, you're just figuring out how to kill them all. I'm like, no, I'm not. I would rather go fishing for them with my son and fish a tournament than I would. Oh, don't even. Yeah, it's bad.
The accusations of most bass guys, I
Oh,
think, would be
God.
like pretty much shaky ground, right? Especially diehard bass guys like Bryant.
But
Just
I like catching salmon. I like eating salmon.
Yeah,
Smallmouth are the devil. That's what I
I
got.
know. We had
I'm
this.
gonna get my spear out when I go up to the Boardman. It's a legal way to catch a bass now.
Brian's on the front of the boat.
Mark, I'm
You gotta
taking my
get-
5 dead fish penalty. But they're
Got
big.
3 holes in 'em.
Mark's got to change the rules now. But I think there's a
Not
stipulation in there. I think there's a stipulation there has to be flowing water or something ridiculous. I don't know. I saw that and we just laughed. I mean, that's going to result in those guys that are trying to spearfish them. If they picked up a hook and rod and maybe, like, I don't know, listen to one of your guys' podcasts after about 5 minutes, could probably figure out how to catch a few of them and probably do a lot better. It's ridiculous.
And might have a good time doing it.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's so ridiculous. Yeah.
It's just so funny where we live and the things we deal with. Because I remember like trying to have that argument. We had a tournament organizer who was running Northwest Bass for a while, and he was fighting the state against all these, whatever crazy thing they came out with. But we were like trying to put an argument together, like the amount of people that would come to the Columbia River if you just told them how amazing the smallmouth fishing was. Like, it's the best smallmouth fishing on the West Coast, easy. And it's an amazing place to be in the summer because it's not near as hot as some of the other places south. Like, this is the tourist generation, blah blah blah, and all of these, like, yeah, they don't care about any of that stuff. Like, none of that stuff.
They
matters.
want, you don't got nothing to worry about, because I believe that they want those salmon and steelhead numbers so depressed that they always have something to study. They always have some new project to do. They always have, never mind getting rid of the birds, never mind doing all these things that are like the glaring things that are in their face when it comes to salmon and steelhead management. Let's go pick on the bass because we can. Let's cut the sportsmen off because they can. Let's do this. Let's do that. Like, until they go after those big picture things, like, they can go ahead. Like I said, the Columbia River has no limit on how many smallmouth you want to kill. Like, there's, and it's just ridiculous. It's not doing anything, only hurting a fishery that they might only have in the future. And it's crazy to me. Short-sighted.
The good news is smallmouth will come back, but by that time, who knows, right? But it's like typical government stuff, right? If there's not a crisis, there's nothing to manage. So you got to have a crisis so you can force the people. Somebody said something about the golden mussel thing, if the golden mussel. But we were talking to one of the fisheries managers, or one of the guys that was managing, I won't say his name so he doesn't get in trouble, but he's like, there's been golden mussels in Central California for years. They just had one incident, turned it into a crisis, and kicked us all off these lakes. So, anyways,
One of
there's no-
the guys I used to work with at Fish and Wildlife sent me an article about the golden mussel and how they shut down Folsom. Right, Folsom was the one that
Yep.
shut down Folsom.
Mhm.
And
That's
he's
Branson
like,
Lake.
this is coming up, coming up our way. And I don't know if we're gonna. I'm like, there's international shit. We take the largest freighters in the world in the Columbia River. Like, if there was gonna be a gold mussel, we'd have the damn things by now. But even with that said, I sent him the link to Pedro, and I'm like, oh well, look how this government bureaucracy is running this, and this is what you got here, and like compare the two. Like, I mean, bless those guys at Pedro for taking a little bit of a stand, at least to my knowledge and what I've seen. Like, they're not planning on closing, and they're just like, hey man, we got to do our due diligence, but we're open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and the conspiracy stuff is good. I won't say who I talked to the other day, but it was funny. He was like, I'm pretty sure that there's a secret government agency that is trucking the seals into the Delta. Because why would they ever need to go past the mouth? And I was laughing. It's like, serious? And he goes, they'd have to dump them off at night. And I'm like, I guess so.
Do you remember?
But I don't know if I disagree.
Do you remember the governor or California governor before Gavin Newsom, Jerry Brown? We used to call them Jerry Brown seals because they came out of nowhere when he came into office. The Jerry Brown seals.
At this point, I wouldn't put anything by anybody. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that, because there's the other huge issue for salmon seal, right? Like, seals, they did a fantastic job putting in ESA and all that stuff on the seals and because we have an insane, like, I mean, I hear about the stuff that you guys see in the Delta too, but it's like, we have seals that are swimming past Bonneville Dam, going through the fish ladders. They're up at Wind River. They're up at Drano. They're up at the Dalles. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
how is this? I mean, but 30 years ago, they were endangered. They brought them back, and now they won't want to manage them. They can't seem to manage themselves out of a wet paper bag, trying to figure out how the hell they're going to do with all these things, because they literally overdid their ground, and now they don't want to do anything about them. Like, I mean, but let's go spear smallmouth. It's just, it's just
Logic.
spear smallmouth.
Easy
Okay.
target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Logic.
It'll be a fun podcast when I wouldn't get into it, but the whole, like, all right, let's talk about how dumb some of this stuff really is. 10, 12 hours, and we'd have to take a break and start over again the next day.
Take a nap. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I think the good thing, and I don't know if did you ever run into Ken Behan, who manages the warm water up in Washington?
No, I never have.
So I've had the joy of getting to talk to him over the last couple of years, and he's a really interesting character because he went to school in Texas. He graduated. He got his degree with the guys he graduated with. Run the Texas program, the Lancashire program, and so while Washington is really still pretty like messed up with their warm water, they have a guy in there who has this experience and has contacts down in Texas that are running probably, I mean, Bryant, you can back this, both of you guys can, like the most successful like bass
Texas Share Lunker
management program in
Texas
the
Park
in the
and
world, right?
Wildlife. Yeah.
And so the cool thing
is
talking with Ken. He knows he's got like piles of bureaucracy to fold through, but he's really passionate about bringing that kind of model up to Washington. He thinks he said to me, not even flinching, that he believes that Washington has some of the best bass fishing waters on the West Coast, and he's excited to like elevate that and make it a thing. Like he wants tournaments to come. He wants things like BAM to be up here. Like when he heard that BAM was coming up and got to fish potholes, he was over the moon about it, because he thinks he actually believes that that's part of something that's beneficial to the fisheries and the growth of them. So maybe there's a shining light in there. At least,
well, he's the shining light, because everything I see from, at least on the salmon and steel, they are just not.
Yep, there you are.
The government overheard your talk.
The
Yeah,
government's
they heard
They're
you
shutting
talking.
you down.
WDFDF, they're shutting us
It's-
down. Knew it.
Censorship.
But whether
Yep.
you go to Texas and you see the Share-Lunker program, or you go down to Havasu and you see just kind of like some of their facilities and like some of these places, like where you go around, and we were just in North Carolina, here in Florida. It's like these guys have really understood. It's like, man, we really want to be pro sportsmen. Whatever it is, like, and it just seems like Washington and Oregon, they just do not have that attitude. They have an attitude of, let's stick some wolves in the northeast part of the state and study it and spend millions and millions of dollars on that. Let's get all our seals and sea lions back and then not manage them. And then now it's a thing, and it's unfortunate. I'm glad to hear that this guy is on that warm water side of things, because I'm going to be honest with you, we need it.
Well,
Yeah,
and the
you should
bummer
bleep
is,
his name out. They're gonna think he's a spy.
we'll just.
You just ratted him out, man.
Probably should.
Well, I think there's only one warm water guy, so the target's set. But I mean, I guess the frustrating thing, in Jake, you're a business owner, and in the industry, these entities are pretty much directly responsible for the success of market growth out here, right? And if they aren't managing this well for the sake of the sportsmen, then the sportsmen aren't going to show up, spend the money, support the business. I can't remember what the statistic is, but I think the freshwater bass market on the West Coast only consumes like 17% of the entire market. And it's a tiny piece. And, I wonder if, the government entities could put more focus into growing sportsmen as a whole, if that helps grow the market. And I mean, Cameron, you're also involved with addictive fishing. I wonder if and you're a guide. I mean, your income is directly reflected by what they decide you can and can't do, and how long your season is, right?
Oh, 100%. They're going to have a meeting tomorrow that's going to close the Columbia River all to spring salmon. And just as I'm sitting here in Florida, they gave us a season and opened it, which was kind of unusual. Now they're going to close it again. Like, there's no money for that state bureaucracy in recovered stocks. There's only money in recovering stocks. And I mean, at the end of the day, like, I just truly believe they're not out looking at things for us, man. It's really tough up here, where other states, I believe they truly do. Like, when you look at, like I said, even the Share-Lunker program, and just what you see, just even at your boat ramps in North Carolina, and what they're doing with like stripers over there, and what they're doing in Florida, it's just sad, honestly, is what it really is. It's a bummer.
Yeah. Have you seen the Delta before? Have you been on the Delta yet?
Nope. I'm scared crapless about the Delta.
Like,
you'll feel right at home with all the sea lions.
yeah.
But fair enough.
I could imagine the first people that got there were like, this is what God intended outdoorsmen to have. Like, it is the most amazing. Like, you're just driving around, you're like, this is awesome. Like, everything lives there. It's like this breeding ground for the outdoorsmen. It's heaven. And then it's like so contested over the stupid thing. In my opinion, it's just to keep us off of it, right? So like water rights or whatever they want. But I would have loved to go back 100 years and be like that guy that was like, well, tomorrow I'm going to shoot 100 ducks. And then after that, I'm going to go catch 1,000 fish. Just crazy cool place. But obviously very daunting, very controversial, but cool place for sure.
And before the yachts.
Before the yachts. Yeah, even the yachts can't live there.
The first time I was ever there, I was in one of the smaller like canal channels, and a yacht came through at like 20 knots, like wide open, and sent a 8-foot wake behind him, and I pooped my pants.
Well, you probably got it washed out pretty quick. When the wave hit you in the chest.
The guy who was in the boat with me, I felt so. He's like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," because like the horizon disappeared, and I that poor guy, he was so scared. I was too, man. That was crazy. They need rules down there.
Nah, just point your nose
No.
right into them and head to the back of the deck.
Oh yeah,
Just watch the water come on over.
Yeah, I just let it. I hope it didn't put me on the shore.
hey, it's better. It's better than the what are they? The freight cargo ships that come by.
Oh yeah.
If they're loaded down and they come by fast enough, they can literally suck a foot to 2 foot of water out from beneath you, and you'll be on dry land if you're in a foot of water close enough to the main channel. I was catching them so good one time, and I saw this ship coming. I'm like, that thing is going to totally screw up this whole area because the current changes, everything changes. It just pulls so much water out from everywhere because it's displacing so much water. So I'm catching them as fast as I can, knowing I got like 20 minutes before this is over. Hey, dude, it's every cast, and then it already had gone by. And by the time that water just totally changed, it was incoming tide. The ship ended up sucking all that water out. It dirtied up everything. I never got another bite after that.
Wow.
Did you bottom your boat out?
No, I didn't. I was deep. I got off the edge. But there was,
Alright.
like, I've seen it
that-
to where bluegills are flopping on the, like, there's little bluegills flopping in the mud.
Another thing to worry about, the Delta. Perfect.
Oh no.
Oh,
that
yeah, you'll be
place-
fine. You'll be fine.
Whole nother planet.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. You can see them coming at least.
Yeah. We'll have you on after your Delta tournament because we'll just do some sightseeing. Maybe take a couple pictures. We'll put them up and we'll all talk about them. Like, it's not the only thing that's dying there.
Oh.
Anybody that ever tried to start a marina on the Delta, that's dying. Like, it's where stuff goes to die. The coolest place on the whole planet, governed into ruins. Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually think you could just totally sightsee there, just looking at like, dude, I think somebody built some shacks up there. I'm not going up there to look at the shacks. There could be a whole drug cartel living on that island. You never know. But
Probably.
there
Yeah,
probably
there's some-
is. Yeah.
There's some towns, shanty towns.
So back to talking to the smartest guy on the podcast. All
Yes,
of
what would
the
you like?
definitely not talking to you, Bucky.
Sorry. I just had to take a shot.
Wow.
So,
wow.
With all the management stuff and all the guiding and stuff, are you pretty concerned about the way they manage the seasons, or is there enough of them every year to keep you guys? Do you worry about that like in the future?
the seasons are a symptom to the problem, right? Like, they do out migration, they stock, they do some programs that are extremely successful. There's some tribal programs in the Columbia that are extremely successful. There's steelhead programs on the Oregon coast that are extremely successful, but yet the state, whether they're the kind of the regional managers or biologists or even up at the program managers up in Olympia, they just choose not to do them. And there are some shining beacons that do really well there. So it's just this kind of like, I mean, yeah, it is a huge concern. I think the fishing could be a lot better if they just prioritized the sportsmen and got rid of some of these huge problems there. It is kind of nice just because we do get a little bit of breaks in our seasons that good, bad, or indifferent, you get to go bass fishing and whatnot. But I think, if we wouldn't be talking about smallmouth issues and predation issues when it comes to seasons, if they had some of these other bigger things in check. I mean, period. Hard stop. So it's just kind of a weird, I guess it's not a weird dynamic, but it's something that I think we need change from the very high tops and just start doging and axing and yeah. Just
Yeah.
start
Put
going.
outdoorsmen. Yeah. They get the outdoorsmen off the bottom of the list, like we're like the enemy, and like move us up a couple notches.
Mhm.
The reason I asked that too is because we actually started this podcast because West Coast fishing and I am like you, it's my livelihood, right? Like everything I do is I'm either selling rods into fishing or I'm fishing competitively or shooting content around fishing. So we're actually kind of in an upswing. I kind of hope to see in a kind of an increase and maybe a resurgence of that outdoor lifestyle and fishing and stuff on the West Coast. So like I mean, we're not governed by seasons, but we're definitely it's definitely concerning when you see economic things turn or you get an environment. Bo probably knows this really well too. Just certain areas just don't really care if we're there or not. You know what I mean? You got neat places like Coeur d'Alene where you're like, hey man, we could bring a ton of people here and really blow up this environment for all the outdoorsmen. But our biggest tackle shop got closed down last year, just couldn't make it. So I'd like to see, that industry actually sustain people that want to be in it, not just being a professional fisherman or, you know what I mean? But I definitely don't have the guts to be a guide. Like, you're the man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't plan on that as a, like how I'm feeding the kids. You know what I mean? That would be a tough
You don't
lifestyle
have the
for
patience for it.
TJ would come out. They would all just. There would be restraining orders involved. Police would be at the dock.
me. You guys are painting a picture that is not true. I only yell at you, Bryant.
Oh, aren't I special?
Yeah. I didn't yell at you when you cleaned my boat out at Mojave for the last day. I came home with like 3 rods and 2 were broken. You had the rest of them.
All it would take is some
I still got
mid
them too.
40s man to bird nest 4 of your bait casters, and you'd be like, I'm out.
Well-
You'd be done. You'd be done.
I watched a couple videos today of Cameron, and you were talking like the way you were talking, like you have done it you are a professional. You're talking about tangles. The boat doesn't cause tangles. You guys cause tangles. And like you had this like, it was like, and I was like, holy cow, that's exactly how I'd be. If you
awesome.
tangled your stuff up, time out. That's like Boomer's timeout room.
You're not wrong. No, that's the pre-salmon trolling speech where it's, hey, if the gear tangles, it's not the swivels, it's not this, it's you. It's you. I haven't tangled a rod personally in 15 years. So if you don't succeed the first time you try doing it, try doing what the guy told you to do the second time. Like it is so tough. I call it it's like kind of like playing poker. You know, some days you're dealt aces and some day you're dealt, 4-8 off, and you got to figure out how to freaking make it happen. And it is a little bit of a challenge, and there's a lot of competitiveness in that too. But there's just that big variable, like you said, of the clients that you get. Like I'm very competitive with all my buddies and all my professional colleagues, and who's back to the dock first kind of thing. And man, sometimes it is 1,000% those guys you have behind the stick sometimes, and it's a random draw every time.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure if Bryant and I came, it would be our only trip with you. You'd be like, yeah, no, I don't think so.
No, you guys
never again.
No, you guys, I trust. No, you guys would be freaking the easiest day I'll ever have. I'll tell you, man. When we go,
Well,
we'll
I'd
twitch up
slow
some
down.
coho later
Yeah.
on.
You'd have to deal with some bickering.
Dude, I'd have him in the headlock by 8:30.
Non-stop bickering. Like 2 old
You
ladies.
stole that cast from me.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Fight-
dude.
just fight to
we
the
would
death.
be tangled, but it would be because we're just casting on top of each other all day.
He's trying to steal. Like if I caught one before him, he'd just get into this weird mode.
Oh, I would have
Uh-huh.
I would just have a pair of scissors and start cutting the line.
Well,
that's a nice
now that
one.
I think about it, we better film an episode that day too. Now that I think about it.
Oh my god,
Absolutely.
that could never
Without
be aired.
question. 100%. Yes.
It's like the most viewed content we have right now for the year is you and I yelling at each other at Shasta. Like, like,
The best-
like
the
I'm
best
looking at my
content
wife
we
like, you
got.
guys don't even look like friends. Like I set the hook and you're like, you suck.
There's something to be said for that. My cohort Marlon and Addicted, man, when we start getting into it, people just freaking love it. I mean, they love it. So, I think that's just the way of the world, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody,
Absolutely.
people just want to be entertained, and I don't blame them. For
Yep.
sure.
So, I mean, talking about your guiding experience, I wanted to touch on this because I don't know how many bass guys in the world know about this, but I know you scope on your bass boat, and if I'm not mistaken, you also scope on your guide boat, correct?
So just like the bass fishing, just like how it's, revolutionized bass fishing, for good, better. I'm one of the guys that's in the boat. Like that technology's out there. It's good. And kind of like what Greg said on your podcast, he's like, I'll be damned if I'm going to let some 19-year-old beat me with it. So he figured, you know what I mean? Like it's a tool. It's a tool, no different than spot lock and all that other good stuff. But with that said, in the salmon world, no, I put live on my boat about 4 years ago, and it is absolutely disgusting what we can do with forward facing, even though it's a it's a backwards facing sonar for us, because we we put it back behind the
BFS.
boat. But yeah, but I tell you, it's amazing, because we're looking for Chinooks, and our flashers are that big, and the lead ball is 16 ounces and whatnot, and the fish aren't holding tight to cover for the most part. They are suspended to some degree. Even if they're on the bottom, they're still like off. And so when you start applying that technology behind the boat, we used to use line counters and, like I said, heavy leads, 12, 16, 20 ounces a rod, to try to like really fine tune and really be efficient at like our depth controls when we're trolling around all this gear and whatnot. And now with the live, it's like, oh yeah, keep letting it back, Susie. Up right there. What's that number on that line counter? 40? Because you see it all. Like, it's like all just so perfectly portrayed on the technology, and it makes us so efficient. It's scary. Like, I've even joked with one of the managers. I'm still really good friends with that. I do think like it shouldn't be illegal for salmon fishing, but oh my God. I mean, you go into some of these holes when we're hover fishing eggs, back bouncing, whatever, and I'll like look in the hole and like, they're not here, guys. Hold on. Run to the next one. Look, nope, they're not here. And you're looking for targets that are big. Like, you're not looking for a 3-pounder rooting around in the gravel. You know what I mean? It's like you
Right.
flash that hole one time and it's like, they ain't here. Go to the next one. Yeah, exactly. Oh, they're 45 feet behind the boat by that bush.
Wow.
It's crazy. And it's also crazy, just like bass fishing. We've also learned like all these just wild behaviors that we didn't think happened. I mean, like, with guys doing all this, suspend offshore winter fishing and digging up these giants, or going and fishing all the muddy lakes for the 10-pounders and stuff. It's just like it really is revolution. In the salmon world, there's so much more of that now, that we're just learning their behavior, and like just everything from like where they're acting, like where they're running. But even like when you get salmon that will come up to your gear and flare to it like 3 or 4 times, like now I know that rod's been looked at like 3 times, and there's something either wrong with the presentation, with the size, the cadence, the spin, or whatever it is, and I can make an adjustment, and then I can put it back down, and I'm not guessing if salmon even looked at it for the last 20 minutes it was out there. You know what I mean? I mean, I see immediate, just fish comes up, looks at it, goes away. That's weird. Fish comes up, looks at it, wait, I might want to change something. Bring it in, change it, drop it back down, where we just troll around without that technology for 3 hours and just, I wonder if one looked at my rod today. And just all that, it just makes us so efficient, even like in the estuary when we're trying to find like the big schools that are staging up to come in, even out in the ocean, man. It's nuts. It's wild. It's just, it's incredible.
Yeah. More
It's
information is
crazy
good.
how many similarities there are with forward facing in the salmon to the bass world.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I think that, going back to what you guys were talking about earlier, it's like, it is different fishing, but like just understanding, like also too with that forward face, like when you need to leave a spot, or when you need, like, just knowing what you have for like underneath, I just, all of it, it all applies to the salmon side of things. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. I think it's probably, I mean, I didn't know you were going to like it that much, but I think every version of fishing is finding out that the information that you're getting is so powerful, right? And we've been doing it the old way for so long that I think some people are kind of like rebelling against that. But I mean, like, your fisheries are managed by catch counts, and you guys can only have so much a day. So being more efficient in doing that, is that bad? Is there any downside, do you think, to
It
the
is.
forward?
Oh, it is. It's making people. There's 2 things that have happened in the salmon steel world. One's been the 360 flasher, where they actually thought about outlawing that on the Columbia River a bunch of years ago, and then also forward-facing sonar. And the managers haven't really picked up on that, because it's not a secret now in the Northwest. I'm not like, sitting here going, oh yeah, you got to have one to catch a salmon out there. We've been doing it for so long without. But the guys that are really like applying the technology, but it's no difference than if you give like me new technology, and like Brian, you guys that do technology, it's like you guys will you guys, if you have the background knowledge and like can put the pieces together, you're going to figure it out so much faster. It's the reason why, like, I hear some guys with the forward facing, they just want to bitch about it, but I don't see them entering any tournaments and just killing everybody with it just to prove a point, because they can't. Like, it's the same thing on the salmon side. So yeah, it is more efficient for the guys that are really good with it and the guys at it, but it's available to everybody. And yeah, it is quota based, and we do catch quotas a little bit faster for it. 100%.
So you
Like,
guys
we do.
could potentially end the season quicker, but as far as
100%.
like damaging the fishery, you guys are still maintained by what you catch, right?
So when they apply, like our fisheries, man, they will not let us go over in certain aspects of wild impacts depending on the fishery. There's some areas that are very terminal where it's just a lot of hatchery stock, and once the hatchery gets back what they need for brood, after that, every extra fish they get back is one less fish that could have gone on a dinner table somewhere. So some of those fisheries are like, yeah, just put it to them, kill them all, go nuts. But then there's also like it's always this big mixed bag of fisheries, because you got the Columbia River and you got all these tributaries, and basically you'll have like one stock in the whole realm of all the fish that can only get impacted so much, and they manage the living snot out of it. Like, if it gets above a certain percentage, the whole fishery shuts down, even if 90% of the fish are the ones we need to kill, like truly need to kill, because then the wild fish guys go bitch about how there's too many hatchery fish and they might stray on the gravel. And that's a whole nother, like I said, that's going into the part 2 conversation when you really, or that's the day you guys come out fishing. We'll get into that. But yeah, it is managed, it is constrained, it is quota based. And so, yeah, therefore forward facing sonar is helping us catch that quota faster. 100%.
Yeah, and I think it's everything. I remember talking to Brandon was chasing trout around with it with a jerk bait, open water. You know what I mean? Like, it's just more information. And I laugh about Bryant will love me for this. This is my rant. It's not my rant. I get one more, Bryant.
Oh,
But like
boy.
the old school bass guys want to get rid of it for what it's doing to bass fishing. But I kind of believe that in almost every version of sport fishing, it is taking over. And we'll be the only ones that will regulate it out, and we won't use it. You know what I mean? Like, we'll be the one group of guys that are like, we don't want, it's making it too easy. We like things hard, or for whatever our arguments are. But it is going to take hold of sport fishing if it hasn't already.
Oh, no question. I mean, even just in my short tenure, very short tenure, kind of in the competitive bass world, just the stuff you just learn, like, it's just, and it can spin you up too. You can do a lot of things wrong with it, like staring at that one dot and trying to get him to bite for 40 minutes instead of just leaving his butt and going to find a naive fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've heard some people talk about that in this room. It's like, and there's a little bit of merit to that too, because I was doing it really wrong with forward facing, I think, for a little while too.
Yeah.
Live and learn.
So, Brian, do you have any comments about my rant? Good.
No, that's a
Anyways,
good one.
next.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I wish I had your mute button. That'd be sweet. It's like when your kids are going through driver's ed and there's a brake pedal on the passenger side. I wish I had your mute button.
Just slam them right into, they're not expecting it.
You just be talking and no sound would be coming out. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
That's why I get the
I've
button,
learned to
not you.
actually mute you just in my head over the years
Psychologically.
we've known each other. Yeah.
He's got an internal mute button.
Yeah. I have
Brian's
selective
got the
hearing,
brake
and I
pedal.
select the mute button for you.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Obviously, you've fished. Have you fished the Boardman pool?
Oh, he has.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of guiding there?
He has.
I'll do some walleye guiding up there, but there's not a lot of, like, all the salmon steelhead have to swim past my house before they get to Boardman, so they kind of tend to stay down there. I've done a lot of walleye stuff up in there, and then that's right. We killed all the dumb ones about 200 miles that way. Yeah. But no, I do get up to Boardman. I love Boardman. I love it. I love fishing up there, just like a lot of people do. I wouldn't call that one the Bonneville pool. I'd call my backyard, but I do get up to Boardman a lot.
Yeah, that's
You've done okay there a few times.
Yeah, I love Boardman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boardman's awesome. You know that we're talking about the correlation between you understanding, just salmon, steelhead, that kind of stuff, but and how it's helped you with bass. There's funny thing is I'll find like a spot in the middle of nowhere. I'll spend a whole day looking for it, and then I'll come back in the tournament and there'll be a salmon guy on it, and I'm like, what are they fishing for? And then they'll catch us. You're fishing next to them, and one of the clients will catch a smallmouth, and the guy will be like, "Trash fish," and throw it over his shoulder, and I'm like, "There's other stuff here." Like they use the same areas, right? They use the same pinch points, same points. So I can see that really helping you out.
The walleye guys are just dragging earthworms all over those things too. All those same spots as well. So
the walleye guys.
Little advantage. A lot of walleye guys up there, man.
Yeah. There was a they didn't delist the walleye, correct? I thought I heard that rumor.
Oh, it's a another thing. It's a no limit fishery. You can go kill 80 walleye a day if you want. No limit.
Right. That's what
no limit, no size, no nothing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna fill the freezer before I come
Freezer
back.
filler.
Fish tacos.
I'd eat a walleye before salmon all day.
100%.
Dude, every tournament, if I catch a couple extra ones, you just bring them back in your live well, and even if you don't want them, like, hey, does anybody want two? Well, I'll take them. I mean, they're gone in like a flash. It's like, oh, they're a couple nice walleye.
Yeah.
Apparently, I was fishing in the wrong spot.
Fish tacos.
caught these guys. Here you go.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So Cameron has been kind enough.
I know it's late
on his vacation. It's 10:30. So I'm gonna ring the alarm bell a little bit here. Do we have any other questions? Brian, did Jake talk over any of the things you wanted to ask or say?
He kind of stole a few of mine.
Okay.
I have a feeling Cameron is going to be on our podcast again. So
please.
I agree.
Yes, hopefully.
But hey, before we let him go, before we totally cut you off, tell me what you think about this year, Cameron. Like your first year super, like you're obviously all in. You're gone to Havasu and you're pre-fishing McClure and like you have blood in your eyes. So what do you think so far?
Oh, dude, just stoked to be here and overwhelmed as heck. I can tell you, like when he put out the call out for like anglers to fire at this, and I was kind of like, he had Northwest on the radar and all that good stuff, when he was trying to draw people and there was, the tournament you guys, when it was the not Super 30, but last year's tournament was up here and whatnot. And I was like, well, shoot, if they're going to like pay attention to the Northwest, I mean, I got a little bit of skin in the game for that. So I would want to, put my chip in, and if you'll have me, you'll have me. And so then it was just kind of like, oh, I got in and whatever. And I can tell you, like, I'm one of those guys that's sees that you gotta participate in, if you want to have it there. I've got a 15-year-old son who's just all about it, lives, breathes it. Unfortunately, like, I didn't know much about this whole tournament scene and whatnot. So the big part of getting involved and getting into that and getting our feet wet was a little bit for him, because he's going to be he's a freshman right now. They were supposed to have their first high school tournament last Saturday on the Columbia River, canceled.
Wind.
Due to wind again. It's not been a good year for the Columbia, but no, I can tell you, like, I'm super stoked and just trying to keep my head down a little bit and just watch and learn. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got thrown into the wolves, man. And the way you quit getting your ass bit by wolves is to run faster. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to learn. There's not a faster learning curve. It's just right. It's like you're either going to put up with it and learn super fast, or I've done it a few times where I've ran home. We have the 5-day rule, and we'll explain it to you, and you're allowed to use it. It might help your marriage out. Nothing I say 5 days after an ass whipping can be used against me. So
I love it.
So like if you come home and you're like, I'm quitting it, I'm selling this boat, let's take up gardening. You could say all that stuff. none of it can be used against you if it's
Nothing
within the
counts.
5-day window.
That's a Jason Hickey rule, yeah.
That's a Jason Hickey
Yes.
rule. I love that rule.
That's a fantastic rule.
Come home, put the boat away. It's still all the batteries are
selling
on,
this
the graphs are
thing.
running. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I'm-
I'm selling it.
There's one difference though. I haven't gone into any of these tournaments thinking I was even going to do anything at all. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
the bar
and then
is
you
really
just
low.
somehow
So that just luck into something. So the bar is really
Yeah.
low. I was like, yeah, I just kind of want to see. Let's maybe talk 2026 a little bit and just see what
Yeah.
happens. Let it ride.
and then you're looking for a bed so you can fish day 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's how you get
Boom.
there.
yeah,
That's Bryant's rule, though, right?
Yeah, it'll work.
That
Oh
is
yeah,
my
it'll
rule.
be good.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. I'll figure it out.
I never.
Tell me. Yeah.
No,
Sorry,
you're
tell-
doing it right, Cameron. You never get a room for the third day because it's a jinx on making the third day. It's always better if you have to scramble, sleep in your truck, all like beg, borrow, and plead for a bed. So you're well on your way. You're doing everything right.
Like I said, the bar is low.
The first time this happened was when we were fishing MPFL, and I'm like, should I get a room? It wasn't MPFL, it might have been a different tournament, but I was scheduling, and I was like, all right, I'll schedule us through the last day. And he's like, don't do that. We'll bomb. What are you doing? And I'm like, well, what happens if one of us makes it? And you're like, we'll never make it if you've got accommodations for us. That's the rule. The whole year is
Never
scramble time.
book the third day.
Keep a mattress in your truck bed.
That's right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right. No, that's we need more guys like you in bass fishing. So if you have any other guys who want to convert, guys that are brave enough to just throw their hat into the biggest or however that saying goes, throw their number into the hat of the biggest West Coast tournament circuit that we have out here. Like that is seriously impressive, and then obviously you can compete and hold your own. So that's pretty awesome, man.
Super cool.
Well, I appreciate that. I wish more guys would do it. I mean, I know it's kind of one of those things where it took my buddy Craig to just get me to ride Cope, 1 year, and after that it was, I think there's a little more of that, and I don't think people up, at least on my end, from my world, I mean, I get questioned, dude, all the time. Oh, you're bad. What? You're why? What do you do? It's like, man, if these guys only knew what they were missing. I mean, it's just, if they only knew what they're missing, if they had any of that competitive, like, I mean, dude, it is a competitive sport, and it is so engaging and whatever. You guys obviously don't need to tell you, if more of those guys knew, you'd see a lot more. But maybe that's more where these podcasts can go, like you were saying earlier, Jake, and maybe we can get some more content going out there, kind of trying to show that a little bit more and grow, and just continue to grow the sport, because there's a lot of room up here, and I don't want to catch salmon and steelhead forever. So here we go.
Yeah, that's what we're fighting for. But
and I mean, a lot of these salmon steelhead guys kind of have a reputation of being a little grumpy and cantankerous, and maybe it's because they're not competing. Like they need to go out.
No, they need an outlet.
And like they're not getting their blood rush enough. That's what
they
think.
think they're competing. They're not.
That's the problem. Exactly.
That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's rough.
Man, this has been awesome.
Yeah, please.
This has been awesome.
we will do this again. If you're willing to come back and deal with us. Oh, anytime, man. Like I was telling Bo, I appreciate the hell out of you guys out there. Like, just getting in. And when you guys started the podcast, I've listened to every single one. And I can tell you guys, obviously it's cool to learn from some of the best out there, and just shoot. I mean, there's nothing more exciting when you guys do a podcast, get a 2-hour drive ahead of me, and I get to listen to it the whole way. So I appreciate what you guys do too. So we'll do it again.
Awesome. Now you get to listen
There's
to
probably
yourself.
there's probably only like 10 minutes of like real value. Except for when we have
it's all
Dr. J.
gold, baby.
Yeah.
It's value, just different kinds of value.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah. Some very low value.
Well, cool, man.
Great,
I hope
buddy.
it doesn't
Well,
rain on you for the rest of your vacation. That stinks, but thank you.
We're here and hanging, guys. Like I said, appreciate the hell out of you guys, and we'll catch up with you guys here soon.
Cool.
Sounds good, brother.
Thank you
All
again.
right, talk to you.
Later, guys.
See ya. Thank you. That guy's way cooler than you, Jake.
I know.
Okay.
I didn't set the bar that high.
Just making sure you know.
Yeah,
That
I
is
did.
that is crazy. He's only been bass fishing competing for 2 years, and he's already kicking your ass.
Yeah. I think he's beating me in the points. I'm not kidding. Like, yeah.
Dude,
I mean,
he's like his
He's
first
fishy.
year. Like he gets the boat, he buys a Camus. His first year, I mean, he's fishing all the local derbies, and he is in the top 3 for most of them. And
Fishy
like some
dude.
guys look around like, who is this dude? Like he's a salmon guide. Like what's he doing? And he is like, and I'm talking like going out in the spring and catching 20+ pound bags on the Columbia, things that take guys years to figure out.
Yeah, there's such
amazing.
there's Aaron Echtenkamp, who's on Super 60 as well, is like that. He's good at he runs a guide service for waterfowl. Like, and Hickey told me one time, he's like, just watch a guy like that. He'll evolve so fast. Just because that time in the outdoors and not just chasing one species, it just tunes those skills. Like, he's a machine. He's probably one of the best sight fishermen that we have on tour. And so, same thing. Walleye guy, you know what I mean? Just fishes for everything. Super
John
natural.
Same thing.
Yeah,
John
JP,
Pearl.
for sure.
Yeah.
Man, I hope
Salmon
that guy
guide,
doesn't fish
striper
next year.
guide.
Yeah. John's
He
awesome.
should.
I know. He is awesome. We need to have him on too. We've got a list of guys and it's getting longer. So
It is growing.
It never gets shorter.
That's okay.
all these guys are awesome to talk to and I want to learn from them. So that means from now on, you guys are not allowed to hang out with your family until we get everybody off the list. Sorry. Just kidding.
Daily
Coming from
podcast.
you, that's a statement.
Yeah, my kids aren't as young. When I say I'm going to go podcast, they're like, good, he'll leave us alone. He stinks. You know what I mean? Makes us do chores.
Jerk.
Jerk. All right. So thanks
was a
again,
good one.
fellas. It was a very good one. And we hit some
Yeah.
like controversial topics. I wonder if we're going to get like
Yeah, you got all fired up.
red flagged.
Oh, it was great. It was
The
great.
think
government
we-
is watching us. Hey, we got one new follower. The government.
The government.
Bingo.
They're like, oh, they heard
GVT.
about our seal depositing boats.
We got to stop the night ops. No
Yeah,
more
there's the
seal
night ops. It's probably like one of those big Malibu wake setters, and it's
Yeah.
got like a little
The ballast tanks have 2 seals in each side.
Yeah,
They
it
just
shoots them out
shoot
like
'em out.
torpedoes. Boom, boom.
Oh boy, that's a great way to end it.
All right, boys.
All right, thanks, guys.
We'll see you soon.
Till the next time.
Thanks for listening to the Alpha BassCast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and rate us. We'll see you next time.